Perception I/O is a film that watches you back using artificial intelligence, facial recognition, and eye tracking. And the film responds to your emotional response, and the narrative changes in real time to make you aware of your subconscious behavior and in particular your implicit bias. So what actually happens in the Perception I/O experience, you go into a museum and the installation, the AI in the installation will welcome you as a chosen citizen to train the AI law enforcement system of the future. It's going to capture your data in terms of your responses to the information, and it's going to train the AI set that's going to become the law enforcement AI that's going to be here in the future. So you're basically going to watch the same footage of a scenario, and you're going to be the cop. And the footage, the perspective that you're going to watch the film from is going to be as if you are a body cam of a police officer interacting with a potentially volatile situation. There'll be two protagonists, one black and one white, and the scene will be exactly the same. So it's going to show you how you respond as a police officer to a black person and a white person doing exactly the same thing, and seeing if you have an emotional response. I want people to feel a bit uncomfortable. I want them to feel a bit awkward, like, no, you go first. No, you go first. Like, I kind of want them to feel exposed, but not like in a bad way, in terms of a greater sense of self-awareness. This concept is really important to me because I used to direct music videos and TV commercials, and I was aware of what I felt was how media was projecting images and identities and marketing and thoughts onto people. And I wanted people to kind of use media to empower who they were, to give them greater self-awareness, not to kind of give them options like, oh, you need to dress like this, or you need to buy this to be cool, or drive this car. It's like, no, I want you to understand who you really are through media. And the times we're living, that system of manipulation has just been exacerbated on a whole nother level, particularly through social media. And when you kind of say why now, is that how people are being manipulated through social media, and how that's impacted Brexit in London, Trump in America, and lots of global campaigns where they're using things like Cambridge Analytics to target people and send them very specific information into their timeline that nobody else sees, that will influence them in some way, whether it's a lot of the time elections, but for many other things as well. The times we're living in now, technology is used in a very sophisticated way with a very specific purpose. So before, I think it was just a case of making people addicted to technology through kind of sending you notifications that you're constantly like responding to, and you kind of get that hit neurologically that you want to just keep on it. Now it's like, now we're addicted. It's like, okay, now we have your attention. How can we guide your attention, or influence your attention, or manipulate your attention? And that's the era we're in now. It's like, and it's going to get even more sophisticated and more advanced. So that's why it's really important for me to make people aware of how they are an unwilling participant in how they use technology. And then also another narrative is that I've done a lot of research into artificial intelligence and implicit bias, and how there's so much implicit bias. It's almost impossible to create AI that's not implicit bias. So I want people to be aware that when you do this experience and you're training the AI law enforcement system of the future, that this is a reality. Like, somebody's actually training that system. And they probably don't look like me. So it's not going to benefit really working class people, women, people of color, black people. So I just need to bring this narrative or this dialogue out there in a way where people can experience it, in a way where it's not going to go over people's heads. These type of conversations like artificial intelligence and governance or regulation of it, is people don't really get into these conversations. They're talking about X Factor or something else or some film, right? So I'm like, enjoy this experience. It's fun, it's exciting, but it's more sci-fact than it is science fiction. I work with this amazing production company today called She Shot Me, which is Mooney, Jen, and Cynical, Superfly chicks in New York City. They were the production company, and they brought the project together at super short notice, like 2 weeks. And I'm just ecstatic, like it couldn't have gone any better. We had like an amazing cast, an amazing crew, amazing location. How it works in New York, if you're using fake firearms, you have to have NYPD cops on set, and they were there. And there was parts, I'm trying to create an authentic experience. I mean, I'm a black chick, in case you didn't know, and I'm trying to represent my perception of reality, but in a way which is accessible to everybody. I don't want to create like a piece of propaganda. I want to create I want to kind of create access points for other people, for them to create their own reality. So, but we created this scene with the cops, and the cops like, no, you could be more aggressive. Like, you know, we were saying, what would you say? And he says, put your fucking hands up. And we're like, okay. We hadn't actually gone that far, because we don't want to be like, oh, the cops are the bad guys, you know? There's lots of bad guys in cops, but we kind of want to create several different narratives that reflect who you are. So yeah, so to answer your question, we feel it's authentic because we've got the cops saying to us, yeah, just ramp it up a bit. So yeah, it went really good. The actors all brought something different, and they all brought something authentic, and some of it I didn't even realize. Like there's a part where the black guy stopped and the white guy stopped, and the white guy was moving around a lot when he was stopped by the police, and he was actually being quite ambivalent, like, get away from here. And I was like, fuck, like, is this your reality? And the black guy, even though he was angry and aggressive in a way, he wasn't moving as much in the space. He didn't kind of have that life experience of if a cop's talking to this black man, I can just keep it moving. And I was like, wow, that's so deep. Like, all the black people was like, yeah, black people just stay. Even if you're agitated, you know you can't go out of this box. But the white guy was like walking everywhere. So it was really interesting. Even that small thing just brought out so much discussion. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. Really, I've learned a lot, and I'm really excited about what the future will bring with the work. So that's a wrap.